Hey guys, my name is Ty from Napeto. I'm a six-figure Amazon seller, and today I'm going to be going into the differences between FBA and FBM, the two different fulfillment methods you can use when selling on Amazon. So let's get right into it. All right, guys, let's get into the differences between FBM versus FBA and the pros and cons of each of them. So first off, let's go into FBA. This stands for Fulfillment by Amazon. This is where you just send the units into the warehouse, the Amazon warehouse, and Amazon ships them out to the customer for you. So you're sending out a bulk amount of inventory at once, and then they are doing the heavy lifting of sending the individual units out to the customers. Shipping to Amazon only costs 30 cents a pound. So what I mean by that is when you send the bulk to the Amazon warehouse, that's going to be about 30 cents a pound. That's what it is for me. That's what it is for a lot of people I know. It may be a little more, it might be a little less, but that's about what you could expect. Much cheaper than individual package shipping. And you'll often get buy box priority due to shipping. The shipping times are going to be quick. Amazon 1 day, 2 day shipping, sometimes same day shipping. And that's going to give you the Prime label, which is going to give you buy box priority. Because Amazon likes promoting its own Prime service. And a lot of people are just searching for items that are with the Prime badge on them. You could have the bad reviews removed. With FBM, it's much harder to get reviews removed. You need to ask the customer to remove them and resolve the issue and all that. But with FBA, you can request removal because Amazon is fulfilling all of these. So if there's an issue, a lot of times it could be because of Amazon, which is why they'll get rid of the bad reviews just easily for you. You just request removal, and I haven't had any issues getting any of them removed. Every time I do it, they get removed. In my opinion, it's not as much work. You're just sending in the stuff and waiting for sales. Easier to scale because you could just send in a bunch at once. You don't have to be ready the second you get a sale to go send it out. Customers trust Prime more. Like I was saying, just that Prime badge, filtering items only by Prime items. And then they also handle customer service. So Amazon is going to handle the customer service on all FBA items, so you don't have to worry about that. Things like returns with FBM could be kind of a pain. It could also be a benefit, though. We'll talk more about that in the next slides here. So those were the advantages. So what are the disadvantages of FBA? So it can take a few weeks or even longer sometimes for items to be fully in stock, especially during the holiday. So this is when it's going to say FC transfer. So that's just because the warehouses get very clogged up during Q4. So sorry guys, the warehouses just get very busy during the holidays. Higher fees on FBM. FBA fees are pretty high, but they're also doing a lot of the heavy lifting for you, so I don't blame them. Returns aren't always handled well. There's very easy return policy. On Amazon, if it's not a grocery, most items you could return within 30 days. And I've had people actually return items that are different than the item I sold, selling some type of food processor, and they send back one from the 80s that's totally different, not even the same one, and they'll just send it back to you. They'll just send it back to your house, the seller. They'll send it back to the seller, and they just will give them their money back and charge you, which is very unfortunate. You could be a little more stringent with FBM. There is product prep requirements, meaning stuff that could leak. You have to put in a poly bag. Packs you have to put in poly bags. A lot of stuff you have to put in poly bags, which isn't too much work, but it's just an additional thing you need to do and an additional small cost you need to think about. So let's go into FBM now. So FBM is fulfillment by merchant. So this is you're listing the items. It's kind of like eBay. You list the items, and then the second they sell, you send out to the customer. So there's no Amazon FBA fees. There's no reliance on fulfillment centers, no Q4 issues. A lot of FBA sellers actually turn to FBM. I have done that in Q4s previously because of just the delay in FBA warehouses. Returns are up to your discretion, so you could say, no, you can't return that, and then, you could risk a bad review, or you could say, like, yeah, I'll accept it, but there's a restocking fee. So there's different ways to go about it. And then you could sell items before you purchased them. This is a little not super recommended, but it is possible. If you see something in a store that's selling, but you don't want to buy them yet, if you don't know if they're going to sell, you could list them on Amazon, and then once they sell, go buy them and then ship them out, because you know that you are shipping it out to the customer. You don't have to ship a bunch out in advance. So that is one option you could do. Another thing is, I don't recommend drop shipping, but I think those that do are doing it FBM. But I don't recommend drop shipping on Amazon. I believe it's against the terms of service, and I would avoid that. Fulfillment by merchant disadvantages, so relatively high shipping costs. So you have to create a custom shipping template and decide how much you want to charge your customer for shipping. I think usually for most items it's like $10 to ship something. Smaller items probably cheaper. But you just gotta kind of figure that out and figure out how much you want to charge them, and if that's gonna affect how many people are gonna buy your product, based on if the shipping is too much or too little. Longer shipping time, not normally Prime eligible. Hassle factor, you have to ship out each order yourself, like I mentioned before, and then you have to handle all the customer service yourself. And then, you have more packaging materials, because if you're sending out, instead of one big box or a bunch of big boxes holding all your units, you're sending out a bunch of small boxes. So you do have to get more packaging materials. It's not that big of a deal if you get them for cheap, but it's just another cost you got to think about along with shipping, So which one of these is going to be best for you? It kind of depends on your situation. I recommend, FBA mostly, a little hybrid FBM, doing a little FBM here and there, especially during like Q4 when FBA warehouses are going to be a little more filled up. But I would recommend, mainly go for FBA. That's just where my experience is. Some people are very devout about using FBM a lot. I just don't like how I could risk, getting bad reviews that can't get removed. But it's not the end of the world if you do get some bad reviews. But that's what I believe on FBA versus FBM. Mostly FBA, a little bit FBM. And if you have any questions, just please leave them down below, and I'll get right to them for you. Thank you very much. You have a good one, guys. Peace.